Hi, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour Trash My TBR readathon. So I have picked the 2 books that I want to read this month for Trash My TBR, because if you've been following my Trash My TBR, I picked 6 books and I need to read them before the end of September in order to not have to get them off my TBR. And then I'll be starting the next round of Trash My TBR, which is basically my Goodreads TBR, all the books that I've had on there since 2007, 2006, something like that. So I figured I have so many books to read this month that I'm really behind. But one of the ways I could hopefully get a really good dent into the Iliad, which is the one I chose to read this month, is to do a 24-hour readathon. So the other book I'm going to be reading is Medea by Euripedes. That one is much shorter. It's a play, and I figure I can read that fairly quickly. So I'm going to start with Medea. I'm going to enjoy that, but then I'm going to get into this beast and try to do as much as I possibly can within 24 hours. Now, I'm going to hopefully listen to the audiobook at the same time, and I think that the audiobook is only like 13 hours, which to me seems a little surprising, but you know, this is an epic poem, so you know, the lines are shorter than in, say, a normal book. We'll see. I don't know. It just also depends on how much I understand as I'm going along, if the audiobook actually supplements my reading. But I'd like to try listening to it while I'm reading it physically, and that's my game plan at the moment. So it is 2 in the afternoon right now on Saturday. I'm actually going to be starting this 24-hour readathon at 9 p.m. 9-ish, maybe 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. We'll say 9:30. But I'm about to go on to reading sprints on Antonisha's channel, Mrs. Moody Reader, because we're doing box office-a-thon and she has sprints and I get to participate by actually being on the sprints. And so I'm really excited about that. But that goes from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, I wanted to give you a bit of an update on a book that I finished, my 4th book for the month, that is going to apply for Whatever You Want-a-thon. So here's the clip of that, which will include all the points and everything. Okay, so the 4th book that I finished for Whatever You Want-a-thon is Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. So I'm just going to go over the points for this one. I'll talk about it a lot more in my wrap-up when I eventually do that. So it was 100 points for being one of the books towards my goal. And then it fulfilled 3 prompts. So it fulfilled person of color representation, it fulfilled mental health and disability rep, and then it also fulfilled buddy read because I'm reading it for the Down Memory Jane read along. So we're all kind of reading these books together. So this one gets me 175 points. So maybe not the most amount of points, but it was a fun read. Also wanted to give a bit of an update where I am on reading this week, because I'm not doing a vlog for this whole week. And I kind of figured I'll just give you an update. So at the moment, I am like 84% of the way through Assassin's Quest. I would like to finish that soon. It's not much left, but I am chipping away at this bad boy. And then I've also been buddy reading the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin with Liz from forbookingoutloud, and I am halfway through that now. We are meeting tomorrow during my 24-hour readathon. I'll take a bit of a break and I'll meet with Liz to talk about this book, which I'm fascinated by. I just started a new audiobook. I'm listening to The Future of the Mind by Michio Kaku, which was really cool because the introduction was actually given by Michio Kaku, and that was awesome. So the book is being narrated by somebody else, and already I'm like, oh, I like Michio Kaku's narration. I would love for him to have narrated the book, because he's got this excitement that you really want when you're learning something from, especially a physicist, because physics is one of those things. And so I love his excitement and his enthusiasm. It's almost like he just gets a kick out of everything he is learning. And that's always very compelling for me, especially when it comes to learning about science. If you're excited about it, then I'm excited about it. So, so far, I loved the introduction, but we're just now getting into the actual book. Finally, I started The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue for Buzzwordathon. I read 11%, and that's all I've read so far. And I have not been able to get back into this one. So I'm hoping next week, I'm hoping, I was enjoying it so far, but I didn't get far enough to really give you much of an opinion. It's just that other things have come up since then. And I also am going to be reading these. I'm starting these today. Moon of the Crusted Snow by Wabgishig Rice. This is a box office-a-thon book. And then A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. This is my other box office-a-thon book. So I want to get these started on the sprints today because I'm sprinting for box office-a-thon. And that's where I'm at with all my books, all of my books. All right, so 6.5 hours later, It was great reading sprints on Antonisha's channel. Also on the sprints were Paige from Pages with Paige and Jaymes from Jaymes Space. And we had such a good time. Like, it was so much fun. So go ahead and check those out. I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to, but oh well. I was preparing for my 24-hour readathon. I didn't want to overdo it because I knew I'd be reading for the next 24 hours. So I'm going to be starting on Medea. I have an ebook for this because it's really hard to get a copy of Medea. Hopefully that one doesn't take too long because the Iliad is going to take a while. I'll be starting in about 10 minutes. I think I'm going to grab something to eat really fast. And I won't stay up too late because I am not a 24-hour readathoner that doesn't sleep. I have to sleep. But my two goals are to finish Medea and the Iliad. So if I can do that, then I will consider it a success. Okay, so it is now 11:15 and I'm exhausted. I had hoped I would be able to stay up longer, but I can't keep my eyes open. I'm 48% of the way through with Medea, and I'm enjoying it so far. I just found a YouTube video of the play Medea, and part of me wants to watch it. It's an hour and a half long. I'm not gonna watch it tonight. I started watching it a little bit. It looks like it's pretty good, but maybe tomorrow I'll watch the play or something. I need to go to sleep. I kind of feel like when you read plays, it helps to actually see the play. And as much as I'm enjoying reading the play, and it's going very quickly, they're made to be watched. But I'm going to go to sleep now and hopefully get up with plenty of time to finish Medea, read the Iliad. I think at 4 p.m. is when I'm meeting Liz to talk about the next section of the 5th season. Okay, I realized I didn't say anything about Medea. So when we start the play, you're hearing from Medea's nurse. She's telling you the story, what's going on, what the situation is at the moment. Basically, Medea and Jason of the Argonauts, she rescued him. She fell in love with him. They left her country, killed her father, killed her brother, I think, too, and then came to the area that they're at. They killed the guy who was in charge of the area that they're at in Euripedes. Where are they? I don't know. They're somewhere. And Jason has married the princess. And, of course, Medea is devastated because they have 2 children together. And she's like, how dare you? How could you do this? We loved each other. It was a passionate love. And you have taken someone else as your wife. She's miserable. She's miserable. And so she keeps threatening the lives of the king and Jason's new wife and Jason. Of course, the king is like, you have to leave my land with your children. You're banished. And she's just so upset. She's vowing to kill everybody. And Jason comes in and he says basically like, I did this for your best interest. We needed the money. So I married this princess so I could take care of you and our children better. And I also married her so that I could have other children that will be good, wealthy siblings to our children. And she's like, what the hell? You broke my heart. The king has banished her, but he's given her 1 day to figure out where she's going to go. And then stuff happens. And I don't want to go too much into detail because, I don't want to give anything away. But the basic gist of it is that Medea's been wronged. She's angry at Jason, and Jason feels like he's done it for her. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But she's pretty sure she's going to kill everybody. At least that's her intentions, is to kill everybody. Good morning. It looks like we got a bit of a reading day today, which I guess is perfect for a readathon because then all I'll feel like doing is reading anyways. So I'm about 60% of the way through Medea. I did watch the play. Great play on YouTube, and I'll link that down below. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched like over half an hour of it. It's like an hour and a half. So I watched some more of that last night. And yeah, gonna finish up Medea this morning. I need to get some coffee. And then after that, I'm gonna start the Iliad. A little special treat to go with my coffee. This is a what is this? This is a molasses ginger cookie sandwich with the cream cheese frosting in the center. It's fucking amazing.
Arriving to see the light is beautiful. Hush.
I want to see my boys.
Which?
Yours the regret.
My house and my hearth.
He was leaving Priam's door. He is coming. Aegis is coming. The power of Athens.
I will not see him go back and tell him so. Ancient goddess!
Okay, so I just finished Medea, and I finished Medea, and then I finished watching the play, which was fantastic. The play version was incredible. Like I said, I'm gonna link it down below. Watch it. The main actress was just very moving and very emotional. So this play was written beautifully, and I really liked a lot about it. There was a lot about many of the scenes that were emotional. I was more moved by emotion when I watched the play than I was by reading it, but it was very impactful. And it really is a conversation about women. There's a huge portion of this that is sort of like this look at how women live their life, how dependent they are on men, and how they don't have much choice in the matter. And unfortunately, once they're scorned, they don't have very many options. I mean, Jason was just going to get away with all the shit that he did to Medea, and he kind of was like, well, it's not a big deal. I'm doing the best for us, right? I mean, there was very much his own opinion, like, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you upset about this? Which was just incredible. Can't you understand that this is the best thing for your children, me, and creating a livelihood? Completely negating her own feelings or the fact that she loved him and she was heartbroken. But then, of course, you get this descent into madness and this vengeance that becomes such an extreme that it's also incredibly selfish. Jason shows a selfishness in the way he wants to live his new life. But of course, Medea shows a selfishness in her need for vengeance, only caring about the fact that she hurts Jason because he hurt her. And I feel like this is a very common theme when it comes to romance, especially like jilted lovers. It really is a common theme. But of course, this is a very dramatic play, so it takes it to an extreme, which we have seen. You know, this does happen. These kind of things happen, but it was fascinating. The only thing I can say is that the ending was a little less satisfying than the rest of the book. It wasn't terrible. It was just that I felt the way it ended was not as impactful and powerful as a lot of the other parts of the play. That being said, who am I to talk? This was a play that was written by Euripedes in 400 BC. And it's been influential in so many different works of tragedy. So, I mean, like, I think a lot of psychologists have actually looked at this play and had a lot of conversations around this descent into madness that she had and these psychological implications and how Euripides in 400 BC was looking at the concept of psychology, the thoughts behind vengeance and betrayal. And I thought that was fascinating because it shows the curiosity that Euripides had in understanding human nature more. So I did find that really fascinating. So this is my 5th book finished for Whatever You Want-a-thon, and I'm going to put the points up here. I'm going to say it's a team genre book because in the end, there is a point where there are dragons involved, or at least not actively involved, but dragons are mentioned being present. And so because of that, I'm going to say that it's a team genre because that is a magical element. Dragons are considered a magical element. And I think this is definitely a very early look into mental health and mental health difficulties in times of trauma. I think I'm also going to go with out of your comfort zone with this one because reading a play is not something I feel confident doing on its own. Like, that's why I wanted to watch the play itself. I don't necessarily feel I get the same level of emotional attachment as I do, say, a narrative. And this was such a heavily translated text. And it wasn't really difficult to read because it takes a little more focus in order to understand some of the references, some of the gods they're talking about, how to understand that so you can know what the perspective of these characters are. Is this indie self-published? Because, I mean, it was created during the time when Euripides created it, like, what, on tablets or something like that? On parchment? I don't know. Is it an author's debut? I'm gonna have to see what else Euripides wrote. Am I stretching things? Yeah, probably. Oh, hauled in the last year. I definitely hauled this one. I had to buy it. It was really hard to get anywhere else. So I hauled this within the past year. So that's 200 points. 200 points for this one little teeny play. Okay, so I got a little distracted. It's now almost 11:30 and I'm just now getting started with the Iliad. I'm gonna start listening to the audiobook and see if it matches up. If it doesn't, then I'll just be reading the physical copy. Yeah, no, I don't know why I thought that would work. Different translators. I'm going to end up reading the book instead. So, wish me luck. Okay, so I'm only like 19 pages in, but a lot has happened so far. At this point, Agamemnon and Menelaus have kidnapped Chryseis from her father, who is a priest, or, he's a holy man, and he's angered because he didn't want them to take her away, and he offered to let them plunder Troy, but they wouldn't. They just wanted to take Chryseis away, and so he asked Apollo to smite them down. So Apollo is causing all of this death to happen on Agamemnon's troops, and Achilles is like, whoa, what's going on? What the heck? You need to return her because this isn't okay, and the gods are going to kill us all. Agamemnon's like, oh, heck no. Okay, well, actually, no, I'll return her, but I'm going to take your woman. I'm going to take the woman, basically the plunderings of the other military men. And Achilles is pissed off because he's like, hey, look, I do all the work. I've done all the fighting. And you think that you deserve to take my plunder? They're having a back and forth. They're having a quarrel. And is it Hera? I don't want my two favorite men to fight. So she goes down and she says, Achilles, leave it be for now, and I'll make sure that you get the kind of plundering you're hoping for 3 times in return. So then she's like, but give Agamemnon a tongue lashing. Like, let him know that you're upset. I'm having fun reading this so far, but I'm getting sleepy, which is a problem because it's only noon. So maybe I need to have more coffee. That's probably a good idea. I have a hard time with some of the sections that are more explanatory in the sense that they start talking about the gods and whatnot, because I don't know a lot of the back history. But once you actually get to the dialogue parts clear everything up really quickly. So I feel like if you feel stuck on the sections that aren't dialogue, talking about what exactly is happening, once you get to the dialogue, it will clear things up. So just keep on going. Okay, I got that wrong. So Chryseis is the holy man who is in Troy, or the leader of Troy or something. Is it Troy? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure at this point. So Chryseis' daughter was kidnapped by Agamemnon and taken for his second wife, because he already does have a wife. I don't know if this is a similar story to the one of Helen of Troy, or was Helen of Troy Agamemnon's daughter? And then she was kidnapped? I don't know. Okay, I'm lost. I said I was totally cool, but now I'm lost. Oh, so maybe Agamemnon steals the daughter of Chryseis. He's from Athens? Goes back to Athens. Is it the Achaeans or Athens, right? I gotta look this stuff up. His first wife is Clytemnestra? These names. His first wife and him have the daughter Helen. I think that's the name of one of their daughters. And then maybe because as revenge, Hector or someone from Troy comes and steals his daughter, Helen. And that's why Helen ends up in Troy? And is that right? Guess I should just keep reading. Anyways, I'm just trying to figure out how all these stories that I know in my head work within this. And also trying to remember what characters, because then Achilles is telling Agamemnon, you're gonna be miserable the day that you pissed me off, basically, and you made me go away, because Achilles is angry, so he's basically leaving Agamemnon's army. And he does mention Hector's killing a whole bunch of people, and Hector is from Troy, the son of Troy. And I remember that part of the story. So, and I remember Achilles is a part of that story. Anyways, okay, it's coming to me. Priam is the king of Troy. And now I'm remembering that his son Hector is the older one, but he's the one that's really good in battle. And then he has a younger son, and I can't remember his name right now. And at one point, he falls in love with Helen, who is Agamemnon's daughter. And they steal her, and of course, yes, well, basically, I mean, I guess that's like just revenge, right? But then, okay, I think I'm getting it. Slowly. Okay, so no, Chryseis is, or Chryses, the name of the daughter is Chryseis. It's Chryses. K-R-Y-E-I-S, and then the father's name is K-R-Y-S-E-S. But anyways, he is the king or priest or something of Thebes. I don't know what Thebes has to do with Troy, or if it's connected to Troy, or if it's near Troy. Is it part of the same kingdom? Maybe the gods were just mentioning that Priam of Troy would be happy to see Achilles and Agamemnon fighting, because that would weaken their kingdom. And Troy is an enemy of Athens. Do I know anything? I don't know. How can I read when you distract me so, Susie? I haven't got very far. And I'm having a hard time getting very far because every time I start reading, my eyes go... And then Cece's like, oh, let's just play. I'm so tired of you reading. Okay, so since I am struggling to stay awake, because I think I've gotten to a point this week where all the stress and everything that came from my last week of school is hitting me today. I think I'm just getting to the point where I'm done. My brain is done. It's tired. I started listening to the audiobook again, and as I was listening to it, I think the introduction part was very different, but the rest of it's very similar in the way that it's translated. So I feel like the audiobook is really good. Like, I'm really loving the narrator for the audiobook, and if at the moment the only way I can get through this book is by listening to it, I think I'm going to go with that, because as much as I was enjoying reading, physically reading the book, I keep getting distracted by other things, and I'm having a hard time staying awake. So I'm not getting very far. I don't know if this 24-hour readathon is meant to be, because my dad just called and we haven't talked in a long time. So we chatted for about 40 minutes. I had started doing the dishes while I was listening to the audiobook, and then Dad called, and that was wonderful to chat with him. But yeah, it was like we talked for a long time. In about 40 minutes, I'm going to go and chat with Liz. So I don't know how successful this 24-hour readathon is, because the cosmos seem to be against me reading this book. Pizza. Ooh, good. Looks good. We got some dessert too. Ooh, raspberry something. Just kidding. I knew that Menelaus was Helen's husband. I totally knew that. And it's all coming back to me. I think I'm crying, Uncle, to be honest. I've just started book 4, and I'm sitting here listening to it, and I'm realizing that I'm not hearing anything because my brain just keeps flitting off into other things. And then I start reading it physically, and my brain's just like, you're done, Amy. You're just done. So this is a great example of what a 24-hour readathon should not look like. I did get Medea finished. I'm currently reading the Iliad, and I will continue listening to the audiobook at least tomorrow when I have rested and can get back to that. I definitely enjoy certain parts of it. I'm not as crazy about the sections that list all the people who are going to be battling. That was something I wasn't crazy about with the Aeneid. It wasn't as bad in this as I felt it was in the Aeneid, or at least it wasn't as annoying. I did like that there were descriptors kind of describing some of the places that they were talking about. But yeah, I'm curious why that was a thing. Was this a form of just record keeping? And that's why names and the number of ships were put down in these older epic poems? Because then that makes sense. Otherwise, it's not the most exciting part of the book. That being said, the rest of it is. And I'm finally remembering my story of the Iliad. At least the Trojan War part. And so, yay. And this was probably a bad weekend to choose to do a 24-hour readathon. I just know that the rest of the month's going to be busy. I didn't know when I would be able to slide in a 24-hour readathon anywhere. So let's talk about my TBR shelf and what is currently on there on Goodreads. As of May 1st, the day that I put out my results video for my Trash My TBR, I had 1,584 books on my want to read list. So my goal is to reduce that by 100. The next round of Trash My TBR, I'd like my overall want to read list to be 1,484. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal at the moment. So at the time of this video, I had added 38 books since that May 1st video that I put out, which is a lot, but my overall TBR was down to 1,539. So that means that even though I added 38 books to my want to read list, I got rid of or took off 83 books from that list. So that's pretty darn good. I've been trying to clear this thing up so that I can get down to my goal. Fingers crossed that when you see me doing my next round of Trash My TBR, not vlogs for the current round, but the actual next round, I will be down to 1,484 books on my Goodreads TBR, which I think is pretty good considering I keep adding more books to it. So if I can get it down 100 books each time, I'm actually taking off a lot more books than that if I'm adding books. It's just that that's kind of be my goal. My goal is to just, you know, get it down, despite the fact that I will still be adding books in the meantime. I tried to like not add books, and that's just unrealistic because that's how I keep track of the books that I hear about recently, the ones that I really want to read. I have gone through quite a few of the old ones and cleared off a bit. I'll get there. I mean, that's still a lot of books. I know that's a lot of books, but I think for myself, at least I'm actively working on trying to get that number down, which I wasn't in the past. I was just making it go up exponentially. So this feels good, and I'm gonna keep working on it. I obviously didn't get the Iliad done, and that's okay. You know, there's still time. It's off my TBR now, and I'm just gonna keep working on it bit by bit because I don't want to hate it. I don't want to feel like I have to rush through it and then therefore feel annoyed by it. I'd like to actually enjoy it. And hopefully my next couple of books are going to be The Passion, and I'm actually moving Catch-22 to August. So this one you won't see for a little while, but I'd like to read The Passion in July. So stay tuned for a vlog for this one. I'll be doing another Trash My TBR vlog to talk about The Passion. So if you've not joined my channel yet and you're liking this content, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe now so you can find out more about my Trash My TBR. And if you haven't seen the original videos, I will link those up here and down in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.